Ski towns are notorious for their high prices on just about everything, and Aspen stands at the very pinnacle of expensive. But it's not just the accommodations or dining that come with a hefty price tag. If you've ever tried booking a flight to Aspen, you've likely experienced the sticker shock, because the ticket prices can be as high as, or even higher than, flights to Europe. For example, if you try booking a flight from Los Angeles to Denver for the upcoming week, you'll find average prices around $160 on major carriers like United, Delta, or American Airlines. But shift your destination just 100 miles west to Aspen, and the price suddenly jumps to around $300 despite Aspen being closer to LA. This disparity is not only with Los Angeles, but with every city that has a flight to Aspen. For example, a flight from Chicago to Denver costs an average $120 on legacy carriers, while a flight to Aspen would go up into the 300s with the same carrier. And if you take a route like Atlanta to Aspen, where Delta is the sole carrier, the average is in the 400s, with flights sometimes upwards of $600. What's even more striking is that these high prices are for the summertime. In the peak season between December and March, flight prices to Aspen can reach up to $700, matching those for flights across the Pacific. So, what's driving these sky-high prices, and is Aspen an outlier, or is this common among ski destinations? While most ski towns do tend to have expensive flights due to factors like limited airport access, high operational costs, and a premium traveler market, Aspen pushes all of these factors even further. On top of that, a handful of unique challenges make flying into Aspen not just costly, but exceptionally so. It all starts with geography. You see, Aspen is nestled deep in the Rocky Mountains. Aspen's airport, officially known as Aspen-Pitkin County Airport, is surrounded on all sides by rugged, snow-covered peaks that restrict airspace, requiring aircraft to follow specific and often complex approach and departure routes to avoid terrain. Moreover, Aspen sits at nearly 7,900 feet above sea level, making it one of the highest commercial airports in the United States. This extreme elevation further complicates operations. The thin air reduces engine performance, reduces takeoff speeds, and limits aircraft weight, which means planes can't carry as much fuel, cargo, or passengers as they would at sea level. On top of this, Aspen is known for heavy snowfall, fast-changing weather systems, and reduced visibility, particularly in the winter months, which also happen to be peak travel season. The airport frequently shuts down or diverts flights when visibility drops or winds exceed safe thresholds. Unlike major airports that can rely on multiple runways and advanced landing systems, Aspen's single runway airport lacks the flexibility to handle challenging conditions effectively. So, airlines are dealing with an airport that's physically hard to reach, prone to delays, and vulnerable to weather-related disruptions. From a business perspective, that means higher risk. And in aviation, higher risk almost always means higher cost. Those costs are further shaped by the nature of the airport itself. Because Aspen is not a major hub, there's no sprawling terminal and network of gates. Only a few commercial carriers, mainly United and American Airlines, serve the airport, flying in from select cities like Denver, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Chicago. There are no budget carriers and no competition to drive prices down. This limited service creates a bottleneck. Flights are few, seats are scarce, and demand soars, especially between December and March when skiers and second-home owners flood into town. The result is a perfect storm of constrained supply and surging demand, which allows airlines to keep prices high without sacrificing bookings. And it's not just that tickets are expensive. It's that even less desirable options like middle seats, basic economy fares, and last-minute bookings are pricey. In any other market, these would be discounted to fill planes. In Aspen, they often command premium prices because the airline knows someone will pay it. But if there is enough demand to fill even expensive tickets, why can't airlines simply add more flights and appeal to a larger audience? The short answer is, Aspen's airport can't handle more planes. This is because of the several unique operating limitations by the local legislation and its location in a high-elevation mountain valley. First, aircraft at Aspen Airport are restricted to a wingspan of 95 feet to give the necessary separation between aircraft on the runway and on the parallel taxiway, with a maximum weight of 100,000 pounds or 45,000 kilograms due to the condition of the runway. These restrictions influence the commercial airline services provided at the airport, which must use regional aircraft to comply with the weight and size limits. Most mainline aircraft, such as the Boeing 737, are generally prohibited from the airport due to these restrictions. Moreover, the airport has a curfew in place, which prohibits operations between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. No aircraft departures are permitted after 10:30 p.m., and jet aircraft with louder engines under the FAA Stage 2 category are permitted to take off only within 30 minutes after official sunset. Additionally, due to a mountain range just south of the runway, most commercial passenger flights are required to approach from the north and depart in the same direction. This configuration forces arriving and departing aircraft to use the same runway in opposite directions, effectively flying toward one another. As a result, the setup is less efficient and reduces the number of available takeoff and landing slots. Given these operational challenges, commercial passenger flights into Aspen require more than just routine procedures. They must be flown by specially trained crews using aircraft certified by the FAA to handle the steep approach and execute the demanding go-around maneuver if a landing must be aborted. Despite these constraints, commercial airlines aren't the only ones competing for space. Enter the private jets. During peak season, Aspen sees more private jet traffic than commercial flights, sometimes by a factor of 2 or more. These aircraft take up runway slots, parking space, and ground resources, putting even more strain on already limited infrastructure. This matters because commercial flights are now competing with Gulfstreams and Learjets for access to the same infrastructure. And when that infrastructure is scarce, airlines either have to pay more or operate less, again driving up prices for the limited flights that do make it in. This surge in private jet traffic isn't random. It reflects the kind of traveler Aspen attracts. Aspen isn't a discount destination. It's one of the most expensive ski resorts in the world. Hotel rates routinely exceed $1,000 per night. Dinner for two can rival the cost of a domestic flight. Ski passes, spa visits, and luxury shopping only add to the tab. So it should come as no surprise that many people flying into Aspen are wealthy, either seasoned travelers, second home owners, or business executives. And this brings us to a key point. Airlines are businesses. When they see that Aspen-bound customers are both willing and able to pay a premium for convenience and exclusivity, they tailor their pricing accordingly. That said, not every traveler is eager to pay those premium prices. Some try to get around Aspen by flying into alternative airports like Montrose or Eagle. These airports are farther out, anywhere from 1.5 to 3 hours by car, but they often offer more reliable service and cheaper flights. But here's the trade-off. That extra drive comes with rental car costs, shuttle fees, and the risk of icy mountain roads. For many travelers, especially those who can afford Aspen prices to begin with, paying a few $100s more to fly straight is a small price for added convenience. In other words, it's not just that prices are high because costs are high. It's that prices are high because people will pay them. Compare Aspen to other winter destinations like Salt Lake City, Reno for Lake Tahoe, or Denver for Summit County. These cities are served by large airports, multiple carriers, and have more affordable infrastructure for airlines to operate efficiently. They also serve broader markets and not just elite ski towns, which spread out the costs and keeps fares competitive. Aspen, by contrast, is small, seasonal, and high risk. That means fewer planes, fewer people, and less room for economies of scale. And let's not forget the operational costs. Maintaining reliable air service in a mountain town isn't cheap. Airlines have to invest in pilot training for high altitude, short field landings, de-icing operations, high maintenance regional jets, and backup plans for diverted or canceled flights. Each of these adds to the total cost per passenger, especially when planes have to fly in half empty or canceled altogether. In bigger markets, airlines can absorb those costs. In Aspen, they're built into the ticket price. As for the future, the county has approved plans to move and widen Aspen's runway, aligning with FAA requirements to allow aircraft like the A220 and Boeing 737s. While this upgrade may increase seat capacity in theory, if airlines opt to operate these jets, it's unlikely to reduce ticket prices given Aspen's broader challenges. Ultimately, Aspen's airport reflects the challenges of its setting: high elevation, limited geography, and strong demand. Even with future upgrades, those fundamental constraints aren't going away. For travelers, that means flying to Aspen will likely remain as exclusive and as expensive as the destination itself. Thanks for watching, and let us know in the comments what topic you'd like us to cover next.